Hi, I'm Jones and welcome to my channel and welcome to another amazing recipe video. This one is for some delicious, savory, vegan, and really fun Valentine's treats. For this recipe I am going to be using a bread maker, but you don't need to use a bread maker. I will leave a link to the full recipe that's on my blog in the description box below, and in that recipe I tell you how to make the dough without a bread maker. It is a really great pizza dough recipe that I've been using for a long time, and I use it so often that I have taped the recipe to my bread maker so I always know where to find it. So with that in mind, let's get right into the recipe. First, we're going to put some warm water into the bread making container, whether that's for a bread maker or just a large mixing bowl. And this is 1 2/3 cups of water, and I get it to 80 degrees by putting it into the microwave for about 40 seconds. That seems to do the trick. And then I am adding some active dry yeast. This is rapid rise yeast, but you could use bread maker's yeast or regular dry yeast. As long as it is fresh and bubbling, you want to check it and make sure it's getting kind of foamy in the water, and if it's not, wait a few minutes. If it still hasn't foamed up, then your yeast is probably dead and you'll want to get some fresher stuff. Then I added 2 tablespoons of organic cane sugar, but you can use any kind of sugar you like, and 2 tablespoons of a plant-based milk. I'm using soy milk here, but again, you can use whatever kind you want. Then I'm adding a total of 4½ cups flour. I usually do a combination of 3 cups all-purpose flour and 1½ cups of whole wheat, and then a teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then we'll just pop that into the bread maker and set it to the dough setting, whatever that is on your bread maker. Or like I said, if you want to check out the recipe on my blog, veggerarchy.com, it'll tell you how to do it without a bread maker. And after a while, we have this beautiful, fluffy, puffy pizza dough. That has about tripled in size. I just love how this recipe gets so puffy. It just makes me really happy. Next, we're just going to flour the work surface so that the dough doesn't stick when we're rolling it out. And we're going to take about half of the dough that we made and plop it on the work surface and start to roll it out with a rolling pin. You'll probably want to sprinkle a little bit of flour on the dough or even on the rolling pin itself. And we're going to roll this out to about 1/4 inch thick, and we want to have a nice rectangular shape because of the way we're going to cut these. So just keep rolling it out until you get the thickness and the shape that we're going for. Next, we're going to spread some marinara sauce across the dough, and I was kind of running out of it here, but that's okay because you really don't need to use very much. Otherwise it's just gonna like ooze all over the place. So just use it sparingly and then spread it out with a spoon. And then I started adding my vegan cheese shreds. I'm using Daiya mozzarella shreds here, but you can use whatever kind you want. You do you. Then we're going to cut our dough into strips that are about 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide. You don't want them to be too wide or else they're going to kind of flop over a little bit in the oven as they bake. So just keep them thin, and we'll just do that across the entire length of the dough. Now it's time to roll them up. So just grab each end of a strip and start rolling them towards the center. Then you're going to take that center part and kind of pinch it together, and I even used a toothpick to just hold it together so that it keeps its nice little heart shape. Then you can brush a little bit of olive oil on the top and the sides if you like. I like to do this because it just makes a really nice crust. And then I set them aside for 30 minutes to an hour to rise before I bake them. And here they are, all baked and yummy, and aren't they cute? They're just little hearts. They even kind of look like little googly-eyed people, which I think is pretty cute. Okay, now we're going to use the other half of the dough to make our Sweetheart Calzones. So this dough doesn't have to be a perfect rectangle like the last one. Just roll it out, and then we're going to cut out some heart shapes with a heart-shaped cookie cutter. I got a set that had 4 different sizes, so I did change it up a little bit, make it more fun. And then you just kind of peel away the excess dough, and you can ball that up and use it later, roll it out again, make more cutouts or do some more rolls. And then I am spreading some vegan pesto. I made this pesto myself, and I do have a recipe for this on my blog. I will leave a link in the description box below. And then I put a little bit of marinara on there. I don't want to put too much because, again, like with the pizza rolls, it just gets too oozy and it'll just start oozing out the sides and making a big mess. So just a little bit. And this is some homemade tofu ricotta. That is also part of this recipe that's on my blog. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of that on each one. We actually only put the sauce and the ricotta mixture onto half of the hearts because the other half we're going to use as the tops. So just take one of the other hearts and place it on top and kind of pinch it together. Then we're going to press the edges with a fork. This is to hold it all together. So you do want to press pretty firmly with the fork to make sure that the dough presses together, and then they won't come open while they're baking. And then I put these on a pizza stone, or you could use a regular baking dish if that's all you have, but I love my pizza stone. Then again, I like to brush them with a little bit of olive oil. I think it adds a nice touch, but this is totally optional. And then you're going to bake them at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. But keep in mind that I am cooking at high altitude, so the time might vary for you. I would start checking them at about 20 minutes and make sure that they don't overcook, but you want them to be a nice golden brown. And then they are so great to dip in some marinara sauce, and they make the perfect little Valentine's treat. So there you have it, 2 delicious, savory, vegan Valentine's treats. I hope you give these a try, and please remember to give me a big thumbs up and leave a comment if you try these, or if you want to try them, or for any reason. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to get notified every time I post a new video. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great Valentine's Day. Peace.